Well, hello, Planet Earth. I'm Tosh Berman. Last time I looked, this is Tea with Tosh, and our very special guest is the opera singer Peter Case. Hello, Mr. Case. How about a song to start off the day?
Let's see here. I'd like to hear a tune, huh?
Let's hear a tune. Let's hear a lot of tunes.
Past the cemetery down by the willow plant, half a mile from the railroad track, let's see together these two lovers hand in hand. Took a walk in the woods and they never come back. They took a walk in the woods and they never come back. Metal from the radio rang out through the fields, just when they thought they'd find the track, through a patch of four-leaf clover that vanished in thin air. They took a walk in the woods and they never come back. They took a walk in the woods and they never come back. Never before in history has this town been so up in arms. You never heard such misery as those bloodhounds cross the farms. Between God and the police, they were protected from all harms, until they walked in the woods and they never come back. They walk in the woods and they never come back. They never come back. Sirens wailed emergency, no evidence was removed. He never had such theories, but none of them could they prove. Ah, for the missing children, no conscience could be soothed. They took a walk in the woods and they never come back. Well, that was 15 years ago. I guess I come a long, long way. I never heard the end of it, you know, I couldn't stay. When I'm not stuck for time or money, I still wonder about that day. I took a walk in the woods and I never come back. I took a walk in the woods and I never come back. I never come back. I never come back. I took a walk in the woods and I never come back.
Beautiful. You ever heard the story? Have you heard of a writer, a poet named Lou Welch?
Lou Welch, man.
He's a famous...
Didn't he run a commune up in Washington?
Well, it's possible. He was like one of
It's
the...
called the Morning Star Commune, and the guy that I grew up with ran away from home and moved into the Morning Star Commune. Is that the same guy?
It's like in the 60s?
Yeah.
Well, he's like a well-known beat poet. You have to give him a
Yeah, that's
turn.
right. Then he turned into a, sort of a...
Well, he was an ad man before that. In fact, he coined the phrase, "It kills bugs dead" for Raid.
Gosh, what a genius. That's brilliant.
Isn't that great? But the thing is, he apparently one day he did go in the woods with a shotgun
Oh,
and
geez.
they never found his body.
Is that what happened to that guy?
Yeah, just totally
Maybe
disappeared.
he went back to Madison Avenue.
It's very possible. Nobody knows.
He probably came up with a Pepsi challenge or something.
But you know, that song. I always think about that when I hear that
That's
song.
funny, yeah. He had that big commune up there. Boy, some of those. Well, anyhow, yeah.
Well, what's the? How do you feel about that song? Is there an exact interpretation of that song, or what's in those woods? Or is it up in the air? It should be.
No, the woods aren't up in the air. That's about. I'm from in Hamburg, New York, and that's about where I grew up, and a lot of things that happened down there. It was kind of the end of the childhood, you know, and it was just a period of time and a place and all that kind of thing.
I have this sort of mystical, fatalistic. There's a sort of mystical, fatalistic quality to that song, for me at least. Fatalistic, yes. Is it sort of like you go in the woods and
just never come back?
Just never come back. You're just
no, that's
there.
I mean, I could tell you all exactly what it was, but
nah, nobody wants to hear that, do they? If anybody wants to know, please write to the show, and I'll make up a story about it if you want.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, though. Just it was like this little town, you know, and just a whole lot of people just sort of ended up disappearing and leaving out of it. And there's someone starting to show up now. I haven't seen them for years,
really?
and so some of the people that disappeared then, but I mean, it's not that weird a thing. I think it was sort of a commonplace occurrence.
And in your community, for something like that to
It
happen?
seems like to a lot of people, yeah. And I run into other guys, and they all have their sort of walk in the woods story. You know, guys I haven't seen for years from there. So
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing.
That happens a lot in New York City.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're walking down the street. For instance, when I was in New York, for instance, back in Los Angeles, would be somebody in the market. I don't know this person. I just stand in line with this person in the market. And then when I'm in New York, I go to another market or something, and the same guy's in line. You know, what does that mean? I don't know. It's silly, isn't it?
I don't know, Tosh.
Well, I'm not.
I really don't know. I've been seeing this one guy around town. He's just this character, and I run into him everywhere. And we never talk, but he always just looks at me. Like, we look right at each other. And
That's me.
I don't. Oh.
You don't recognize me. Well, you're probably sick of questions about the plimsolls, I imagine, by now, aren't you?
I just don't understand questions. I mean, questions about that anymore. I kind of.
I don't either.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
It's like when you try to answer the same question a bunch of times, and after a while you start to really think about it. It's like ask me a question about it.
Okay, let me ask you a question about the plimsolls. I don't actually have one, but I'm going to make up one right at this point. Well, okay, I've been told there's the Beatles, the Rolling Stones,
Oh, come on, man.
ABBA, and then like the plimsolls. Does that make sense at all? I've been told this by like 3 or 4 people, numerous people. No relation.
That's what I mean. Oh boy.
Well, when the plimsolls broke up, did you just get tired of the 2-guitar, bass, and drums format? Is that why you've gone pretty much solo?
Yeah, man. It's really I got really tired of being in this rock and roll band all the time, but I just got fed up with it. You know. I have a big history in my life of just getting fed up with things after a while, and I mean, like, things like that, and they just start driving you nuts. So it just went on for a really long time. The plimsolls was good for years, and I don't know. It just was time for it to.
What's really interesting now that what you're doing now is more open-ended. I mean,
yeah, you can do anything.
You can do anything you want. In fact, did you have like a band? Was it the Strung Out?
Oh yeah, me and Victoria had the Incredibly Strung Out band for a while.
The Incredibly Strung Out band.
Yeah, that was. Did you ever see that one before?
Yeah, it was great.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
At.
Yeah, we only played like once, and then we used to like play in cars and.
You didn't do anything at Oyo's?
People's houses. Yeah, we did
caves?
one time.
I think it was Oyo's.
Yeah.
It was great. You had a cello player?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. That was Hans. Yeah.
Well, I want to hear.
Victoria's cello player.
I'd like to hear a tune. I want to hear another one.
Let's play a song, man.
This talk is kind of, talk is talk. Talk is cheap.
Oh boy, yeah. This is a song, sort of it's called The Old Part of Town, and it's about Well, sort of a conversation between the belt line, you know, the beltway that runs around the outside of town, like say Kansas City or something like that. The old part of town. Last night I was held up by an old pair of pants out on the beltway where the business is done. As I lay on the asphalt neath the glow of light boxes, the store manager muttered, "Bet I know where he's from." And the town is so quiet, you hear the bell tower ticking. Out on the beltway, they're still frying the chicken, where tempers are short and the hours are long. Honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? The old part of town. You can still hear the footsteps of the old mystery. Old part of town. You can still hear the heartbeat of our whole history. Where those in know might never be found. Honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? Two red high heel shoes split up around midnight. They said they'd meet later by the fountain on 3rd. 4 tires came screeching from different directions and picked them both up before they stepped off the curb. 'Cause in the hours past midnight they stopped keeping tabs. The once carnival quarters are now empty and sad. But honey, I think there's still a time to be had in the old part of town where your mom met your dad. Honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? A newspaper with big headlines that seem to stare right through you. Jumped off a boxcar and blew into town. Picked a fight with 2 beer cans and a torn candy wrapper. The broom sweeping up the alley swore she never heard a sound. Meanwhile, out on the beltway, cars are waiting in lines, and the stars are blocked out by the shines of the signs. You might want to call it a sign of the times, but honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? Honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? The old part of town. You can still hear the footsteps of the old mystery. Old part of town. You can still feel the heartbeat of our whole history. Oh, when the tempers are short and the hours are long. Honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? Oh, honey, won't you meet me in the old part of town? Old part.
Were you always a musician? Were you ever anything else?
Well, I did some other jobs one time, but
Uh-huh.
a few different times. I never really did all that much else, man. I left school when I was 15. I
Uh-huh.
was a dropout. And then, what else did I do? And I just started playing, like, immediately. I had bands and stuff and played, you know, just gigs and, you know, did all sorts of different stuff.
Were you always a songwriter? Or were you writing songs when you were 15, in your teens?
I wrote a song when I was 10 one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, it's really bad. I wrote a bunch of different songs and, on and off for years, you know. I used to like kind of run away from home and go to New York City and, you know, try to, you know, play music over there, and, you know, just come back with my tail between my legs and things like that. We had some real wild times over there, you know. We went out there right in the middle. Went out there with my friend, and we ended up right in the middle of like this huge campus revolution. It was the late '60s, and we got And we had this guy named Danny Kornblatt who was going to let us stay at his apartment, but what happened was we got in an argument with him about it was about Booker T and the MGs versus the Beatles, and then about our laundry, and we ended up getting kicked out of the apartment in the middle of the night.
You were, of course, rooting for Booker T, I imagine.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't really give a flip, but we ended up, my friend got in a big brawl, so we ended up going downtown and staying at the student union at the NYU, and then it was right about a half hour later that I think it was the Black Panthers and the White Panthers and the
Wow.
the Street People's Coalition and the communists for and all this kind of thing, and they took the whole place over. So I'm just sitting there, and I got conscripted to ended up working in the soup kitchen, peeling potatoes and making stew for like 1,000 people and like an endless room full of pots and all that. And then to do that, and then I could stay at the student union. So we brought that back over. This time I was 15, so I didn't know what the heck was going on. Brought it back over, and this was down in Greenwich Village, and then. Right when we brought the soup out and everybody started eating the soup, and then this girl whipped out a gun and started shooting out the glass in the student union window, and about 5 minutes later the police raided and took the whole place over and all this stuff, and we just missed getting our brains kicked out. And then we ended up with Biff Rose's cousin, and
Who's
and so we ended up sitting on the floor at a Tom Paxton recording session. Trying to get this guy named, I think his name was Stuart Love or something like that. Who, after all this stuff, and then we got robbed on the street down there, and that was really exciting, by a gang, and like you'd walk down the street there, and people were throwing stuff through windows, and police were watching them, and people were looting, and there was guys lying on the street, flipping out, and people were throwing flowers on them, and it was just wild.
That's what's missing today. There's people on the street, but not, no fun.
I was thinking about that the other day.
No fun.
It's a little more organized these days.
It's like a union. It's a union. Everything unionized now.
So on the way back from that trip, then, so we went down. We were trying to get this record contract or something. Who knows what we were trying to do, but we didn't do whatever it was. And then finally, we just flipped out and we had to leave New York immediately. And we walked over across one of those really big bridges, and then we got picked up by this guy who was an ex-rabbinical student, named his name was Aaron Walensky, and. He was driving, I think it was a 60 or 61, like a wagon, station wagon. He was just weaving down the road, and he still had his cap on, it was like sort of rabbinical kind of. And he was just, going about 120, and we rode with him to Syracuse, where we ended up in Seneca Falls, New York, where we got pulled over by the police driving in the rain. He didn't have any headlights, and he didn't have any windshield wipers. He was a really crazy guy who was running away from rabbinical school and his mother. And we got arrested by the one cop who was on duty that night in Seneca Falls. And it was the night of the policeman's ball, and he wanted to go to that, so he put us in the custody of a garage. Anyhow.
What can you do? I want to hear more music.
Want to hear a song or something?
Yes, I think absolutely. I think we only have about 4 minutes left, so.
Are you kidding me?
I believe so. It goes fast.
This one. I don't know where this one came from. It's the same kind of thing as that last one.
Right.
Let's see what we got here. Way back in the 1970s when the chief turned 89, people in line for gasoline were itching for a fight. I was out of school working money, feeling hunger's pain. I met a guy named Tony who went downtown in the rain. He bought a pint of whiskey, we drank it in his car. He said the work is risky, with luck I might go far. You don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell because you're working for your enemy. Down by the factories, the quiet part of town, in a hangar by a rectory where the signs have been torn down. Well, the boys had finished loading, rain was dripping from their hats. They were joking, they were boasting, they looked like water rats. They had a 16-wheeler full of stolen goods, tonight I'd drive it south. Down 2-lane highways in the foggy woods with a cigar in my mouth. Well, you don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell because you're working for your enemy. Your enemy. He don't care if you're falling, your enemy. He don't care if you ever hear your heart calling. There we go. Chased by cops in Cleveland, Louisville, a break of day. Didn't say 2 words to Memphis, just let the station play. Well, we hit town and scattered. The sky was dark and low. A drink was all that mattered, and I knew a place to go. While the business was being tendered, I met a gal named Linda Lou. Well, we went on a bender. I told her everything I knew. Well, you don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell when you're working for your enemy. All right, here we go. Well, a rainy night in Memphis in the state of Tennessee. In a bar so dark and noisy, I guess I spoke too hastily. Through my confusion, so confusing, somehow she made me see. In the state I was in, there was no refusing the simple words she said to me. By my next trip to Memphis, me and 2 presidents had done their time. When I got parole, I called Linda Lou. It was me that dropped the dime. Well, you don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell 'cause you're working for your enemy. Your enemy don't care if you're falling. Your enemy, he don't care if you ever hear your heart calling. Work for your enemy.
Brilliant. And you met John F. Kennedy, haven't you?
Hey, man. No, but he came down to Buffalo, you know, and what would he do? He came back there. He was a big hero, and his brother and Martin Luther King and all those guys when I was really little. You know, they were sort of
Was that, he shook his hand about him?
shook his hands about all those guys. You know, that's why I didn't use their names, you know, because it's just a thing about, you know, they were examples and really courageous people, and or they seemed like they were, you know. I think they were. And so that song's just about that kind of the inspiration of those sort of people, you know. I mean, they all got killed, you know.
On TV.
Yeah.
It's amazing that how all major, or almost all assassinations were all televised.
You know, all the heroes.
Do we have time for another song? Can you give like a no time? Yeah, can you do like a end off song? I'm gonna say goodbye for now and end with a song.
You want to hear a tune?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a song about Matt's Lipscope. If you see Charlie James walking down the road, please don't tell him which way you see me go. I had a whole lot of trouble since I saw you last. I don't know my future, I don't want to say my past. I had a whole lot of money. One day, the very next day I did not have a dime. Looking on down the road, as far as I could see, I thought I saw my old time used to be. In the morning soon, I'm gonna leave for Houston in the morning. So if you see Charlie James walking down the road, please don't tell him which way you see me go.
Thank you, Peter Case.
All right, Tosh, thank you, man.
Thank you. Adios, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time. Bye-bye.